Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the channel, hosted by myself, Apex Ellis. And yesterday, you witnessed in a slideshow me building the Lieutenant Titus that you get in the book. And today, you're going to see me paint it in a slideshow again, because, like the other day, I don't actually have a stand to physically record. So instead, just took some photos as I went along. Now, this painting guide isn't going to be a make your model absolutely stupendous and get it into best paint awards. This is just to get your model to a tabletop standard so that it doesn't look unpainted. And let's be honest, you go see 40k stuff, and sometimes and it's not just 40k, it's everyone. You see just grey models or just like bland painted, undercoated, and it doesn't look great. So this guide, it's a quick guide just to get it tabletop ready. Realistically, it took me about an hour to get to this point. However, I was also taking photos. I had my daughter keep mithering me for cereal or for cuddles or what would she like me to do next. So I think anybody could probably paint this in quite a quick turnaround. So first of all, I'm just going to discuss the paints that we used. So we had Celestial Grey, Mephiston Red, Retributor Armor, Corn Red, Rakkar Flesh, Abaddon Black, Mornfang Brown, Korax White, Kaeldor Blue, and for the washers, we've got everybody's favourite, Nuln Oil, Agrax Earthshade, Reiklund Flesh Shade. We did also use Lead Belcher, which I forgot just there for the few bits of metal on the model. So for the first section, now obviously a lot of step-by-steps will tell you to undercoat it black. However, I did a test and the paint went quite well onto the blue model. So if you want to cut out the step of painting just a load of blue, you probably can with this particular model. I'm not saying that you can with every model, because obviously if you're coming grey, you need to get that primer on, you need to get the Games Workshop, say, Chaos Black. But with this model, you don't need to. Oh, I should say as well, for convenience, I only use 2 brushes. So I know that a lot of people will be put off and go, oh, but I need all these extra special brushes, and I'm not the best painter in the world, and I don't try to claim to be. And you'll see by these, I'm not the best painter, but I get to a acceptable standard. So the paintbrushes I used were the Citadel medium shade for the washers, and then it's a brand called Rock Ninja and their number 2 brush. They are literally the only brushes I used, apart from the base, which I will talk about when we get to that point. So the first step is Celestial Grey going on the white areas. Realistically, that is only if you look at the knee, which will be this next bit here. You will see the knee is white with the ultramarine symbol in blue on top of it. So very easy, very simple, very quick to do. The next step is Mephiston Red, and that's going to be the red areas. So you're looking at the handle where he's holding his chainsword, and there is also on the right shoulder pad, you've got the skull, and then there's like a pattern around the skull, which almost looks like a sunburst, and that is red. So you've got that next. Next stage is we're going to do the gold areas with the Retributor armor, and you've got the shoulder pads, which I always find this a bit difficult. I always make mistakes, which is why we're going to leave the blue till last, because as you can probably see by some of the photos, I have gone and put a little bit of gold onto the blue area. I've also accidentally gone a bit ham on the On his pouch, on his side, where you can see it's got a gold bottom, but I've kind of gone over to where it should be the main lever holder. So again, it's okay. We've made a mistake. We can fix that mistake later. Perfectly fine. So once you've done all the gold, you got the emblem on the front, and there is a little bit on the back, which I did almost forget. We're going to go for corn red, which we're going to call them the burgundy areas, but essentially there's a little, where the parchments are, there's like little burgundy tags on the main model. We're going to paint those corn red. I'm going to forget to do them on the right shoulder pad at this exact moment in time, but I am going to remember and come back to that later. At this point now, we're going to go on to use Rackar Flesh to get the parchment and the tanned skin areas. So this is all dependent on which Titus you're using. If you are using the helmeted Titus, you're going to have a lot less areas that you're going to apply this to. But as we're using him without his helmet, it's fine. It's his face. And then you've got on his left leg, you've got the parchment there, which we've just done the burgundy bit. And then on his shoulder pad, this is where I've done the burgundy bits. On the shoulder pads, we've got the skull, and then we've got the emblem, and we've got the little bits of parchment kind of floating in the wind. There, we're going to use Abaddon Black for the chainsword, the bolt pistol. I am going to forget at the time, but I'm going to go back to it later. You've got little bits of crevices in the joints. So in the elbow joint, in the shoulder joints, around the stomach area, and at the back around the knees, there is going to be black there. I am also, because I like the base rim to be black. I like it to be different to the rest. So later on, but you can do it now, is I paint the outside of the base rim black. You will see what I mean. If you don't understand what I mean, don't do anything yet. Wait till later on the slideshow. It will show you the black rim. You've then got the Mornfan brown next for the deep brown areas. So that is literally the leather belt and the pouch, which I presume is where his bolt pistol goes. Because it's enclosed, so it's not going to be the chainsword. Well, it could be the chainsword, I suppose. But yeah, so effectively his belt, which goes all the way around, and you've got pouches throughout, so you want to paint those brown. And his hair is also brown, so we'll paint that brown as well. Now, we're going to use the Corax White, and that is literally for the two bits of cloth, the one at the front groinal area, and then the one at the rear. We're going to paint those the white. And then finally, we're going to use the Kaeldor Blue. Now, Games Workshop do suggest you use Macragge Blue for Ultramarines. However, I don't have that blue. So I have used Kaeldor Blue, and I suggest Kaeldor Blue as well. It does actually still work. It's probably a shade lighter than Macragge Blue, but for doing the odd bit of repair, it's fine, because we're going to fix it with everybody's favourite shade in a minute. So, wash. So paint over the few bits of mistakes that I've done. Happy days. We've now got him base coated effectively. Oh, with I have forgot to mention, we're going to get Lead Belcher out, and we're going to paint the chains that are around his left hand, and also on the rear is I can never remember the name of what it's called, but it's effective like life support system. The little exhaust points there, we're going to paint those silver, lead belcher as well. Moving on to the shade, we're going to do Nuln Oil over all the white, all the red stuff. No, not all the red stuff, all the burgundy bits. So what we did corn in, we're going to do it over the light grey areas and the white areas and the actual ultramarine armor. Pardon me. So, like I said, Even though we've used a lighter shade of blue, the Nuln oil is literally going to disguise that. You don't need to worry. It's going to look fine. Agrax Earthshade we're going to use on the parchment areas, and we're going to use on the red areas. So effectively that Sunsplosion, and then all the bits of parchment and the skulls on the armor are going to be Earth shaded. And then finally, we're going to do Reichland Flesh Shade on the gold bits and on the tanned skin areas. So at this point, you can see now the model looks all right. So finally, on the base, this is where I said we get the base rim we're going to do in Chaos Black, and then we're going to use Steel and Mud for the base. I am also going to remember that this model has got tactical stones. So I have painted them grey, I've let it dry, I've then put some Agrax Earthshade on the skull and then Nuln oil over the actual stone itself, making it look more alive rather than just solid grey. Now, the Sterling Mud is if you've never used it before or you don't know anything about paints and you're kind of getting an interest into this. Oh, I should probably say, yeah, if people don't know about the paints from Games Workshop, the shades are very watery and they literally will go into all the crevices and they basically fix a lot of mistakes and give you a lot of good shading, which is really good. It used to take a lot of effort to do really good shading. Now, thanks to these shade paints, it is just so easy. The Sterling Mud is a technical paint, they call it. And effectively, this is a barky brown. And, I mean, it's called mud, effectively. And it does look quite mud-like, to be fair. But it's got bits of grit in it. So my advice is for one of these is if you've got a brush that you don't really care much about anymore, that's a bit old, maybe a bit frayed, use that. Because what I've found is that if you use your nice shiny new brush and you put it into this, which has got a load of grit on it, it's going to affect the brush. It just is. So my advice when using the Sterling Mud is to get an older brush that you don't really mind if it does get a little bit messed up because it's on its last legs anyway. So there you have it. This is now a ready model, Lieutenant Titus. You can see you see bits of the grit that come up onto the mud. And I would say this model is now tabletop ready. You could go further, you could do highlighting and dry brushing. I am awful at that sort of thing, so I will not be doing it. But for me, that model is ready. And I hope that this little guide to get your model tabletop ready was beneficial to you. If you liked it, leave us a like. If you want me to keep going forward, I've got other 40k stuff ready. Like I said on the last video, I could do a review of that book. I have also got for Christmas the Battle Force for Eldar, which I'll be looking at doing an unboxing video and then building that as well. So if you want to see that, subscribe. Make sure you press the bell button if you want notifications onto your phone. Leave a comment, any suggestions, anything that you would do different on the painting. I'd love to hear it. If there's anything that you want me to do in regards to basic hobbying, like I said, for example, paintbrushes or paints, if you want me to do a breakdown of the different types of paints that are available, I'm happy to do that. But until next time, guys, be good to each other. And in this week period between New Year and Christmas, where nobody really knows what day it is or what time it is, enjoy the rest of your day. Bye for now.